How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? As you get ready to listen to this upcoming episode from the Playmakers Blog Podcast, I just want to let you know that you too can get into the podcast journey. It's very simple. It's very easy. All you got to do is jump on Anchor, the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. It is 100% free and easy to use. And even with Anchor, you can get great sponsors who want to advertise your podcast. That means you can get paid for your podcast right away from Jump Street. So in fact, reading this ad is what I'm doing right now. So if you had the time, if you had the will and determination and the dream to be a podcaster, what you waiting for? Jump on it. Anchor is the way to go. You ready? I'm ready. The Playmakers Bar Podcast present Hoops Talk, hosted by Darnell the Playmaker Salins. NBA, college basketball, playoffs, March Madness. No matter what, we talking hoops, man. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing on this morning? This Tuesday morning, should I say? On May the 4th, the day of Cinco de Mayo, 2021, as I'm bringing you Tuesday's edition of Hoops Talk, the Playmakers Bar Podcast. Your host, down at the Playmakers Sounds out here in Jacksonville, Florida. Like I said, it's the day before Cinco de Mayo, and we have some hoops to talk about. We are 12 days away for the end of the regular season. Playoff series is getting tightened. The race to the play-in tournament is getting tightened. There's only 24 teams who can vie for the spot. Some of them already clinched playoff berths. One team has clinched the division. Everybody else is still fighting. So without further ado, let's recap the weekend. Friday, April 30th, the final day of April, we saw the Boston Celtics come back from a 32-point deficit to beat the San Antonio Spurs in overtime, 143-140. The Celtics were down 65-33 in the second quarter, and they came back and won the game. Jaylen Brown hits the go-ahead 3-pointer with about 16 seconds left. Jason Tatum dropped the 60-piece on the San Antonio Spurs to go along with 8 rebounds and 5 assists. That's a disappointing loss for the San Antonio Spurs. I'm pretty sure Greg Popovich is not happy. That might be the largest comeback win in Celtics history, as well as the largest blown lead in Spurs history. Somebody check the record books for that for me and get back at me when you get that. The Philadelphia 76ers gave the Atlanta Hawks one on the chin, 126-104. Dwight Howard had 19 points with 11 boards. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris all dropped 18 points each. The Atlanta Hawks was still without Trae Young at that time. The Portland Trailblazers took the trip to Brooklyn, New York, and took down the Nets, 128-109. Damian Lillard, 32 points, 7 boards, and 9 assists. The Milwaukee Bucks, with the Chi-Town, took down the Bulls, 108-98. Chris Middleton, 22 points, 8 boards, 6 assists. Brook Lopez, 22 points. Giannis did not play in that game. The Utah Jazz took an L to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, 121-100. Devin Booker, 31 points. And at that moment in time, the Phoenix Suns were tied with the Utah Jazz to atop the West. That was your Friday's recap. Here's your Saturday's recap. May 1st. The Atlanta Hawks sit down the Chicago Bulls. 108-97. Trey Young came back for that game, dropped 33 points and had 7 assists. Clint Capella with the 20 points and 11 boards, double-double. The Dallas Mavericks were at home and they took down the Washington Wizards 125-124. Look at Doncic. 31 points, 12 boards, 20 assists. Dorian Finney-Smith added 22 points of his own. Good win for the Mavs. Washington still fighting for the play-in spot. The Toronto Raptors were in Utah on Saturday, and they took an L 106-102 to the Utah Jazz. Bogdanovich, 34 points. Not Boban Bogdanovich, he's in Atlanta. It's the other Bogdanovich for Utah, 34 points. Your nightcap for Saturday, we saw the Denver Nuggets take on the LA Clippers. The Denver Nuggets took that one 110-104 to move into third place in the West, taking over the spot from the Clippers. The Joker, Nikola Jokic, 30 points, 14 boards, 7 assists. Michael Porter Jr., 25 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. Despite having troubles in the backcourt, because obviously Jamal Murray is out for the season. Probably has some other injuries because they were short-handed. As long as the Joker, Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon keep doing their thing, Denver is still a formidable team to be feared, okay? Do not sleep on the Denver Nuggets just because they don't have Jamal Murray. This team still is formidable. So pay close attention to the Denver Nuggets. That was your Saturday's recap. Sunday's recap, May 2nd. The Miami Heat was in Charlotte, and they took down the Charlotte Hornets 121-111. Bam Adebayo, 20 points, 7 boards, 10 assists. Jimmy Butler with 18 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. Gordon Dragic also put in 18 points off the bench. The Miami Heat moved in the 6th spot in the East, taking that away from the Boston Celtics. I will get to the standings a little later. The Philadelphia 76ers were in San Antonio to take on the Spurs 113-111. Overtime victory for the 76ers. Joel Embiid, 34 points, 12 boards. Seth Curry, 22 points and 5 rebounds. If it ain't Steph, it's Seth. Seth Curry showed up for the Philadelphia 76ers. The Brooklyn Nets were in Wisconsin to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. A showdown between Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo took that one. That's the Bucks won 117-114. Kevin Durant dropped 42 points, but Giannis 49 points, 5 boards. Chris Middleton added 26 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists to help get the Bucks over the Nets. As the road trip continues for the Portland Trailblazers, this time they went from Brooklyn to Boston, Massachusetts at TD Gardens. And the Trailblazers took that one over the Celtics 129-119. CJ McCullough, 33 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Damian Lillard added 26 points, 6 rebounds, 13 assists. That put their winning streak to 4. They had played 4 games on the road. They have won all 4, and they have another road game to come. But continue on Sunday's recap. The Sacramento Kings, who are still alive for a play-in spot, went to Dallas and gave it to Dallas 111-99. Buddy Hield, 27 points and 6 rebounds to lead the way for the Kings. And then the nightcap of Sunday night, the Toronto Raptors were in the City of Angels to take on the reigning defending NBA champion, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I must say, Pascal Siakam, 39 points, 13 boards. Kyle Lowry, 37 points, 11 boards. In a 121-114 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Despite having the LeBron James come back, they have 0-2 so far. They lost to the Kings. On Friday night, I forgot to mention that the Sacramento Kings went into LA and LeBron James returned to the court and beat them 110-106 on Friday night. LeBron James had 16 points, 8 boards, and 7 assists in his 18. And then I just told you about Sunday when the Raptors came into town. The Raptors took that one 121-114. The struggles are still happening for the Lakers right now. But we're not done because we have to recap last night, Monday, May 3rd. Starting off with the Utah Jazz taking down the San Antonio Spurs 110-99. Bogdanovich 25 points. Rudy Gobert 24 points, 15 boards. The Spurs have dropped 3 in a row. It's not a good time to be dropping games, San Antonio. It's not a good time. The Indiana Pacers were in the Capitol to take on Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, and the Washington Wizards. A high-scoring affair because the Washington Wizards took it 154-141. And no, did not use overtime. Russell Westbrook has done something that only him and Oscar Roberts has done. 14 points, but that's not the part I'm looking for. Russell Westbrook, 14 points. 21 rebounds. 24 assists. 14, 21, 24 is the stat line for Russell Westbrook. Hori Hachimura for Washington led the way with 27 points and 7 boards. But Russell Westbrook, 14 points, 21 rebounds, and 24 assists one last time. Moving on, the Golden State Warriors were in New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. Steph Curry made sure that the Warriors came out victorious, 123-108, 41 points from the chef, along with 8 assists. Draymond Green with the triple-double, 10, 13, and 15, 10 points, 13 boards, 15 assists. The Portland Trailblazers, who was on a 4-game winning streak, left Boston to head to the ATL to take on the Hawks. And the Hawks put an end to that 4-game winning streak, 123-114. Bojan Bogdanović for the Hawks, 25 points, 7 3-pointers. Danilo Gallinari, 28 points, 7 3-pointers. These two combined to hit 14 threes. Good gracious. The Hawks took that one. The New York Knicks were in Memphis to take on the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Knicks continue to roll. 118-104 for the Knicks. Randall, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Derrick Rose came off the bench, added 25 points. And then the nightcap for last night, it was the Denver Nuggets in the City of Angels to take on the reigning defending champs, the Los Angeles Lakers. In a low-scoring affair, the Lakers got them a win. The defending champs got them a win. 93-89. Anthony Davis, 25 points and 7 boards. That's your recap from this past weekend and last night. Let's take a quick look at the standings real quick. For the Eastern Conference side, number 1, the Philadelphia 76ers at 44-21. They have clinched a playoff berth. Number 2, right behind us, the Brooklyn Nets at 43-22. They have clinched a playoff berth. Coming at 3 in the East, it's the Milwaukee Bucks, 40-24. They are the only team in the NBA who have clinched their division, which means they are in the playoffs. And everybody else who is not in the playoffs, but that's going on. Number 4 is the New York Knicks. Nick Russell, Madison Square Garden, New York City, stand up, 37-28. Coming in 5th place right now, who's the 5th seed? It's the Atlanta Hawks at 36-30. 6th seed is the Miami Heat, 35-30. As of right now, those are your teams who are in the playoff spots. The play-in spots begin at number 7. And who's at number 7? The Boston Celtics at 34-31. Number 8 is the Charlotte Hornets at 31-33. The Indiana Pacers come in at 9 at 30-34. And number 10 is the Washington Wizards at 30-35. Still in the hunt is the Toronto Raptors, who are 3 games back of the Washington Wizards. and the Chicago Bulls, who are 4 games back of the Washington Wizards. That's all your East standings. Your West standings. Number 1 is the Utah Jazz at 47-18, have a playoff berth. Number 2 is the Phoenix Suns, 46-18. They have a playoff berth. The Denver Nuggets coming at 3 with 43-22. They have a playoff berth. And coming in at number 4 is the LA Clippers at 43-22. They have a playoff berth. Everybody else I'm finna name doesn't have a solidified spot. Coming at number 5 is the reigning defending champs, the Los Angeles Lakers at 37-28. Number 6 and just within the playoff play-in, the Dallas Mavericks at 36-28. The teams that are whole playoff spots now. At number 7, the Portland Trail Blazers 36-29. Number 8, the Golden State Warriors 33-32. Number 9, the Memphis Grizzlies at 32-32. And number 10, the San Antonio Spurs at 31-33. Still in the hunt, the New Orleans Pelicans, 2.5 back of the Spurs. And the Sacramento Kings, 4 back of the San Antonio Spurs. Those are the teams who are fighting for spots. If you're Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee, you're in. If you're Utah, Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Nuggets, you're in. Everybody else, including the reigning defending champs, you haven't solidified your spot yet. By the way, everybody who has clinched has won at least 40 games. Just throwing that out there. You know, the Jazz has 47 wins. The Suns have 46. Philadelphia has 44. Denver, the Clippers, and Brooklyn all got 43. And Milwaukee has 40. It looks like 40 is the magic number. Because New York is at 37 wins. The Lakers are at 37 wins. And that's the next highest. So 40 is the mark to get to. 40, if you can get to 40 wins, you're in the playoffs. Let's see how these games can go going forward. Because I do say 12 days to go. Once May 16th has ended, which is on a Sunday, by the way. Once that day has ended, it's play-in time. And the teams in the top 6 seeds in each conference have solidified their playoff spot. So, let's look at tonight. What we got tonight on this lovely Tuesday, May 4th. Starting at 7:30, the beginning of your TNT doubleheader. The Brooklyn Nets are in Milwaukee. It's round 2 of the Nets and Bucks. Can Kevin Durant get revenge on Giannis? Oh, Giannis say, I own the Nets. 8 p.m., the Dallas Mavericks are in South Beach to take on the Miami Heat. Also at 8 p.m., the Golden State Warriors are still in New Orleans to go with round 2. Steph Curry versus Zion Williamson round 2. And then your doubleheader, your nightcap of TNT. The Toronto Raptors are at the Staples Center to take on the LA Clippers. Those are your games to look at for tonight. Tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo. Starting at 8 p.m., we got the Phoenix Suns in the ATL to take on the Hawks. Also at 8 p.m., the Sacramento Kings are in Indiana to take on the Pacers. Also at 8, the Washington Wizards are in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. It is Russell Westbrook versus Giannis. Your lone televised game on the national television level, NBA TV. The San Antonio Spurs, who are trying to right the ship, are in Salt Lake City to take on the top team in the NBA, the Utah Jazz. And then also at 9, the New York Knicks are in Colorado to take on the Denver Nuggets. And then Thursday's action, May 6th. Starting at 7 p.m., we got the Chicago Bulls at the Charlotte Hornets. Then at 7:30, we have the Washington Wizards taking on the Toronto Raptors. TNT has your doubleheader beginning at 7:30 when the Brooklyn Nets take the trip to Dallas to take on Luka Doncic and the Mavs. At 8 p.m., Atlanta Hawks, they are in Indianapolis to take on the Indiana Pacers. And then your second of your doubleheader on TNT is the Battle for LA. 10 p.m., Lakers, Clippers, AD, LeBron, Kawhi, Paul George. enough said. And with that being said, that's all the time I got for you. It's a pretty short episode, but hey, it's all good because we getting up for the playoffs tonight. It's almost playoff time, and it's almost time for the real fun to begin. So with that being said, out here in Jacksonville, Florida, this is your boy, down there, the Playmaker Silence. I am signing off for Tuesday's edition of Hoops Talk. I will holler at y'all Friday. Woo! I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. So if you want to stay updated and know when new episodes of Hoops Talks come out, subscribe and follow to the podcast. You can do this on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Speaker.com, or any of your favorite platforms, including iTunes/Apple Podcasts. And for those of you who are listening on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, go ahead and drop a rate and review of the podcast to let us know how we're doing and how we can improve. And for those of you who want to see any other podcasts that we got going on, go ahead and subscribe to our website, theplaymakersblog.com, and you can see all the podcasts that we do. Until next time for Hoops Talk, it's your boy, the Playmaker down there, Silent, signing off.